I'm gonna find the One Piece. It's Gold Roger's treasure. He hid it somewhere in the Grand Line.
It's a myth.
Can't wait to see the look on your face when we find it.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too. Well, first of all, I would like to congratulate you because I knew very little about One Piece before watching the show, and it really surprised me in the best way possible. And it looks really looks amazing. So congratulations, because I think it's gonna be something huge. So that's the first thing I wanted to know. How much did you know, guys, about One Piece before getting into the project?
Well, my niece is an Uber fan, so I knew of it, and I had read the manga a few years ago from when I heard the project was starting to poke around town, and I started looking up and maybe like, my niece likes this, I'm going to investigate it a little bit. So I knew of it. I'd watched some of the anime. As much as I'd love to call myself an Uber super fan, I do like it, and I've become one. But I like beforehand, I knew of it. I was aware of it and knew bits and pieces, but wasn't like an Uber fan at that point.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it, to be honest. Netflix gave us a call and said, "Hey, look, we got a show in South Africa. You guys are perfect for. We want you to check it out." So they sent us the first two scripts. Read through those, did a little breakdown on them, and then I called Vic and I said, "Hey, look, this is something. These are good stories. These are good characters. If the other 6 scripts are like this, we're in pretty good shape." So, but prior to that, I knew nothing about the show. It really kind of took the last year and 7 months to kind of really get a handle on it. But I know the fan base is huge, and I know we're trying to bring Mr. Oda's passion to life, and that's a challenge and a lot of pressure right there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's a huge fandom, and they're very passionate, but it's also about anime itself, right? It has this huge amount of fans, but it's also so particular. It's so different from anything else. So what are the biggest challenges of taking something that is coming from manga or from anime to something more classic or more Hollywood, if you want to call it like that?
Well, for us to say, we have the pressure of making the manga real, but for our position, we had, Steve and Matt are showrunners, and Matt is might be one of the world's biggest fans himself. And he's lived One Piece his whole life, and having them guide, they're building the structure of what One Piece is, and then they're working with each director to get the directors and the actors to become the world. So we luckily enough had all these talented people shaping the clay, and we kind of just come on and put all the little details that we need to for visual effects purposes. So our big things were, there's fantastical effects we're in a real world. It's not our world. So, there's many discussions of, does gravity work the same? Do physics work the same? So do you ground it off of our world, or do you ground it off of a completely different world that you make stuff up for? So, you have those discussions, and you now have you've got single frames from the manga to base off of, you've got the animation from the anime to base off of. So you're kind of, trying to always make sure you're loyal to both. I've always lended more towards the manga first. I always go to the manga first to see from there, and then I kind of work the other way. But it's one of those ones where you have a fan base and you have to be loyal to them. And when and it's one of those things that everybody, like every person is, art is subjective.
For as long as I can remember, it's been my dream to become King of the Pirate!
There's something really interesting about what you say about if you wanted to ground it or if you wanted to keep it unrealistic. And I think you found a great balance there, because I never saw anything like One Piece, and when I see it, I'm thinking, okay, this is fantasy, but this is also feels real. So how did you guys manage to get into that balance? Because I think it's really hard.
It's a challenge, but I think in the end, if you look back, we did Cowboy Bebop before this, and this was entirely based in space. And this one now
Yeah.
has so many different aspects to it, because if you look at it, every 2 episodes now in a different location with different assets and different kind of ships and everything, and nothing's really reusable. But the challenge always is from day one is you have to make it look real. We'd had that challenge on Bebop, and now we have that challenge on One Piece. And the bigger challenge we had was actually getting Luffy's arm not to look like Stretch Armstrong, to have detail in it in there. The other challenges we're shooting in South Africa alone, because we're shooting in a parking lot with all the ship battles. We're shooting without any water around and without sails that can be up and cannonballs and entire CG background. So the basically from the day one we stepped in there, it's everything has to look real. It can't look, fantastical. It can't be, I guess, some of the other superhero type stuff we have going on. We're based in reality, kind of, even though it's a manga, even though it's kind of fantasy, it's still based in reality, and that's how the visual effects have to be.
Yeah, we spent a lot of work because this is one of the dangerous shows because the fans here are very technical. Like most of when you watch audience members, even my family members and people, my friends, it's like they still don't know what you do when you say visual effects. They think like a fuse and explosions happen. Most people don't understand what we do. And the fan base that is in this world and the manga fans, they tend to understand what we do and be fans of what we do, but they also will frame through. And that's always our scariest part, because it's like it's great to watch something without being able to stop it, but knowing people are going to stop it, it puts a lot of extra work into our world, because when you watch something once really fast, it's very forgiving, but when you frame through it, it's not.
It's like you're not only making VFX, you're making reality look better.
Yeah, because there was all these weird shadow. It was just this weird, it was something about atmospheric perspective. It's like, Scott and I joke, like sometimes we're looking at the mountains and we're like, look at the matte line on the real mountains, because there's like a dark black edge, and it's like we would get so many bad notes on that. And it's just one of those anomalies that happens in the real photography between the lenses and how light's going through the lenses, that it's just there, and you're just like, and sometimes it's just like, do you fix it? But it's real. It's like you don't know what to do sometimes. It's like we're sitting. Scott and I will talk for an hour about it. Do we fix it? I don't know, but it's real. But is it bad? But it is bad. But it's like it becomes a comedy routine for at least the rest of
if you think about
our team that watches us talk.
Okay, guys, thank you so much, and once again, congratulations, because it really looks amazing, and I'm hoping it gets the success that it deserves, because I really want to see more.
Okay. Good.
Well, thank you very much. It's nice meeting you.
Have a nice day.
Nice meeting you. Have a good day.
That went pretty well. Don't you think?